Okay, good afternoon. At last, I'm with you. Let me click on the camera. Okay. Here's my friend Chitam who came to save my life. Dr. Adzaisa. Okay,
thank you. So you want anything?
I really appreciate you staying with me, bearing with me. And
we can meet me here, or okay?
Okay. No, I'll call you. So thank you again for being here. We are like 18 minutes late, so I'm going to be as brief as possible to allow you to make questions. Can you hear me? Just show me your faces or... Okay, I see Sylvia can hear me, Dolores, and Bridget. It's nice to see you. I have received calls from other colleagues that were willing to participate, but they are not able to log in. So probably it's an issue with the password or something. And this always happens when we start a series of seminars. But we are going to have fun, and we are going to learn from each other our experiences. As you know, my name is Sylvia Orta. I have been working for Fisher for the last 12 years. It's going to be 13 years. And I have been teaching at the graduate level for the last 6 years. I enjoy, that's my passion. I have been working before as in the corporate world, in the import-export of textile, where I was always linked to education, as we used to have students inserted in our enterprises. So yes, it is my passion, and it's my family passion as well. The purpose of today presentation, this is too small, I'm sorry. Well, it was in the advertising that we send you when you register for, and I want to exchange my experiences. Best practices is too much, and I prefer to call them my best strategies to teach international students. The agenda is very brief. These are my students from Thailand, and we will be talking about them later on. You can see all kind of young faces from Asia, from Sweden, from America. So it's a huge variety of it's diverse. And this small lady here is a teacher from Myanmar, and I will tell you a story about her later on. I want to share with you some definitions of international students, as when I was preparing for this week, I realized that there are different interpretations or definitions. I want to share with you a few statistics regarding international education. I want to show you my audiences for the last 6 years of international students and my best strategies. And I would like to leave you at least 10-15 minutes for your experiences and any questions or answer. By the way, you can interrupt me anytime for any question, or if you want to add your experience, as this is an interactive setting, and I will appreciate it. We all will appreciate it. Definition. according to the some authors, international students or internalization includes policies and practices by academic systems and institutions, and also by individuals. So it's a very broad scope, and it's intended to cope with a global academic environment. That is one definition by authors Albach and Knight. For the Organization of Development, the OECD, students are classified international when they move to another country. So their definition is very strict, and it applies mostly to when technology was not so advanced. And then there's other, like the system of education in Canada, that they also, the same way as Albach, they also consider international students both enrolled in a Canadian program or others that are studying online through the internet. So this is a more comprehensive interpretation of distance of international students. Also, Albach consider international students those who receive either 4 credit or 4 degree-seeking students, or just those students that want to receive the education of a particular area online. So there's various authors that define internalization or international students in a more updated way. So there's an individual internalization when the students decide that they want to take a class online because of immigration regulations, because of the cost of living in a foreign country, etc. Sometimes because they cannot leave their own jobs. The actual trend, and over the 3 decades, the number of international students has increased. Of course, again, this has been moved by the globalization trend, and this growth has accelerated, of course, by the processes of economic and social globalization. And since 2000, the number of foreign tertiary students or graduate students enrolled worldwide has increased by 99%, for an average of growth rate of 7.1% annual growth, which is incredible. These are all the reference of the information, and I'm going to put it again at the end of the presentation. I'm sorry, I keep the few of mine. Okay, so my experiences for the last, the international experience for teachers and also for students. I want to refer to Dossier's explanation. Diversity in the classroom facilitates increased understanding of other cultures and changes how teachers present information. So it means that you have to be better prepared when you are going to face students from a diversity of cultures. The racial and ethnic diversity may promote a broad range of educational outcomes. And I'm going to refer to the learning outcomes, which are an active thinking skills, intellectual engagement and motivation, and a variety of academic skills. My experience in Fischler for the last 6 years has been very, very rich. Actually, I never expected to have such opportunities once I was able to teach. At the non-degree level, I was teaching for the police department in Panama, and that was an incredible experience. I was teaching them leadership, and they were basically interested in situational leadership because they understand that their kind of work is more towards that theory of leadership. And I met incredible people of all ranks in the police department. And as usual, when you teach, the balance between what you teach and what you learn is sometimes at the same level. It is balanced. So it was a very, very enriching opportunity. Then in 2009, I started teaching trends and issues. It's a very interesting course and subject because we try to call the attention of our students to what is happening in the world. I mean, away from our classroom walls, again from our own daily life, and you need to research. In the meantime, we teach students how to research and how to analyze and how to synthesize information. So it's incredible the way that we can relate and we change the perspective of many of our educators. I was teaching in Kingston, Jamaica a couple of times. Then I was teaching in Kingston and in Bahamas through video conferencing. So it was challenging for everyone, but it was an incredible experience. I also, and these students, of course, they were all native school teachers, school principals, and for the organizational leadership program of Fischler, the doctoral program of Fischler, we also had managers from social services institutions. In Seoul, South Korea, I went to teach also trends and issues, but in this occasion there were 10 American students who are working there for international schools. So they are selected from those schools. From one of those schools has 100 years servicing in the private education in Seoul. So these are very talented students sharing incredible experience on their own, because they have to adapt to the culture in that same level, living their own way of life, respecting their customs. So this was also very enriching experiences. Most lately, I went to teach leadership and power to a group of professionals in Colombia. Let me tell you that in this case, the situation was on my favor, or the balance of teaching and learning was in my favor. I was teaching 16 college professors. They don't have a doctoral degree, but they have 20 years of experiences teaching at the graduate level. and they work for the #1 public university in Colombia for online or for distance education. Actually, the year before, the dean of that university graduated from NOVA, and he was my student for the dissertation process. So it was amazing. I started the class, and it's a blended class, so we had 3 days of face-to-face, and then the rest of the term was online. And we started in that situation of colleagues, and we ended up like close friends, because it's incredible. They are so humble, although they have so much experience. They are very, very humble, and I appreciate every time I send them something. They are so appreciative, and they study, and they give me comments. So it's an outstanding experience. These are the group of students in Colombia. Actually, these two are from Mexico, but they didn't want to wait another year, so they decided to join the group in Colombia. And it's amazing. There's no best word to describe that. My other, and I would say more proliferous experience is in Rangkanatham University in Bangkok. I have been teaching there for the last 6 years. Actually 5 years, but I have been there 6 times. And I teach for the Master of School Administration program, and it's amazing. I've been teaching 2 classes, 2 courses, school management, and we use our textbooks, American textbooks, and also philosophy of education, which is an incredible course to be taught in such a diverse group. And I will refer to that later, but you can imagine teaching all the relevant philosophies in education, and having in the class students who are teachers from all the countries that are represented in those philosophies. It's incredible. Asking Chinese students to represent how their classrooms interact, how students interact with the teachers, and they used to role play. It was a group of 6 or 7 Chinese students that were teaching, working as teachers in Thailand, and they represented their behavior in the classroom in China, and it was extremely interesting. This is the university. This is the link if you want to take a look at it. It's a 1 million students university, but I teach for the International Students Institute. So they have like about 5,000 students, all of them from all over the country. The reason why students go to achieve a master degree in Thailand is because the cost of living is very low. Food is almost free. It's very, very inexpensive, and they can finish the whole master program while working as teachers in international schools or just teaching their own languages, and they finish with no debt, and also they pay 1/3 or 1/4 of what they would pay in America, for example. Okay, this is one of my last group of students. I was there in September. and this is a student from Turkey. This student is from the Philippines, and this is a student from America, and he helped a lot, not only the class interaction, but particular students who were more challenged. The language is English, but some of the students bring to the classroom, I'm sure you have seen them, those machines to translate instantly, so they can type the word in their own language and they give it the English translation, or vice versa. Sometimes they are not sure, so that could be a challenge, but that challenge is outweighed by their interest in learning, their interest in achieving the education. The characteristics of the student body in Thailand, in the IIS of Rankenham University, they are teachers and medium-level administrators for both public and private education. There's many international private schools in Bangkok, as the people who are in the upper level, economic level, they prefer to send their kids to international schools or to private schools because they don't trust the education in the public system. It's a poor environment. They don't have the best teachers because, of course, the best teachers are attracted by the private schools. So it's like a vicious situation. They all have bachelor's degrees, of course, but from many different countries, so many different levels of education or standards of education. But they have a common ground, which is they love teaching and they want to grow in the field. They don't want to quit the field. Some interesting characteristic is also that I have had a considerable group of students that they pursue the master's degree, although they have no educational experience, because they want to start a business in education. So that's another way to be encouraged or to pursue a master in education. Classes there are huge for us. I mean, a live class with 25 to 30 students from 10 to 15 different countries is challenging, but it's a challenging with a special flavor that you don't want to miss. So I have usually students from USA, China, Japan, Myanmar, Sweden, Norway, Turkey, South Africa, Tanzania, Morocco, and Madagascar. And it was very funny because I asked always them to present, either individually or in groups. And when this, I remember one student from Madagascar that when he presented, and it was philosophy of education that he was presenting, and in his country's philosophy of education, he said, I am from Madagascar, a country, I'm not talking about the film. So, and it was hilarious because he found the way to, possession with and call the attention of the whole classroom. It's also interesting to know that they are not grouped in cohorts. So they start the Master of Administration and they take the classes they are required to, but there's not a specific sequence They just need to finish, and when they finish, they have to pass a comprehensive exam. I have been asked twice to prepare and also administer the exam, and it is very tough. To my recollection, only 2 students failed, but they were able to retake it 6 months later, and they were able to pass the test. So I have graduated some of them already. My major challenge with these students in general is the cultural clash. I mean, it's a clash because some of them are very extroverted, the others are introverted, so I have to sort of mellow that situation by giving opportunities to all of them. To balance this cultural situation, it has helped me a lot what I studied in my Master in International Business. I was introduced at that time to Gerd Hestit, and he is a German psychologist who was hired many years ago. I believe it was in the early 50s by IBM to conduct a study on the different attitudes of cultural attitudes. So he developed 4 dimensions where he analyzed the way of communicate, the interaction of at that time there were like 20-something different cultures, and then he tried to make the differences or to set the difference among them. So when IBM was going to send someone either to negotiate or to open one of their subsidiaries, they will conform the negotiation group, balancing and training them how to it was not in the basis of respect, actually. It was just in the basis of not being diminished or threatened because of not knowing the culture, what to expect from another cultures. I remember when I started in Fischler, I was welcoming a group of doctoral students. They were starting, they were in the orientation, and I was shaking the hand to an Orthodox Jewish person, and he didn't hold my hand, and I was shocked. It was my fault because I should have been more aware of what to do with that particular difference or challenge. So what I try to do every time I have a new class in Thailand, I started very, very hard before I go there. I try to find out who are going to be my students, where are they from, and then I learn what is happening in their countries, what is the educational system, what is the philosophy, and then I also consult their hefty cultural dimension to see if they are shy, if there is a masculine or a feminine predominance, how is their level of hierarchy. So different aspects that help me to better understand them. Of course, my #1 rule is the very well known by everyone golden rule. So I will not do anyone what I don't want anyone to do to me. So I try to, while maintaining the distance, teachers and students, that we are colleagues because we are educators, and establish that, facilitate that they can communicate with me with due respect from both sides, but we can communicate very easily. Then I established the same relationship since day one among the whole group of students. I asked them to present or introduce themselves very briefly, and then I also write a directory, the countries, of course the name, their countries of origin, why they are in the program, what are their expectations, and their email address so they can communicate, and I give a copy of that to the whole classroom. The first day is very tough, and more so because the classes are Saturdays and Sundays. So they are tired, they have been working the whole week, and we spend 7 hours and a half in the class each day. But by the second day, the ambience is more relaxed, there's more camaraderie, and we have sometimes 5 projects, in-class projects, because I know that they're not going to have too much time to work at home. So I group them for each project, and every project or every group is different. I move them from one group to the other so they have the opportunity to share experiences with a different culture, a different student, a different attitude. Oh my God, Georgina is here. Thank you, Georgina. God bless you. Okay, I'll call her later. Georgina is a very, very loving person, which I love and respect. I'm sorry. Okay, going back to Thailand. I don't have a particular technology. I don't have a particular best practices as pedagogical or didactical, but it's interrelation with the student, and showing them that because I am from the West, I am not better than them. I try to show them in every class that I bring something to the class, but they bring a lot more as a group to the class. I have never had a bad experience. That little teacher from Myanmar, we were discussing administrative issues, managerial issues, budget, and she was like in another world. So I asked her, can I help you? And she says, no, my problem is that I don't have school, I don't have a classroom. I teach outside, I teach in the forest. My students, they don't have pencil. I just talk and read to them, and so you can imagine, I was thinking the braveness of that student is thinking about her country and studying and paying most of what he gains as a teacher, part-time teacher in Thailand, to go back to her country. And there's many cases similar to that one. I would like to share other experiences, but it's all about the same. I use a lot of triggering videos just to ignite the discussions. I bring in the school management class. I bring films from American teachers like Escalante. I'm sure you remember him. I brought a film from a French teacher, and they were amazed by that film. Another was from China. I was able to get a hold of that, and they are all subtitled in English. So I want to reassure that we can learn from each and every country, and that teaching is universal. There is no one particular country or countries that knows them all. I would like to give the rest 8 minutes for your questions, or if you want to share your experiences. And I apologize again for the delay. Any questions? Just click on the microphone and I will liberate it to you.
Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, I see smiley faces, and I guess you can hear me. Sylvia, can you hear me? Okay. I just wanted to commend you on the presentation today, especially amid the technical difficulties that we're having. I think you have some very, very interesting information, and the question that I had when I first raised my hand, I think you answered that as you went along. I was just going to ask you what you saw with all of the groups that you have taught. What do you see as your biggest challenge?
Actually, after the first time, I was able to manage most of the challenges. My number one challenge is that sometimes you encounter one student from a different culture than the one, because the Asian culture is dominant, because there's from Japan, China, a small group from Thailand, and then Myanmar and the Philippines. So and then a Westerner sometimes is it's not difficult, but it's not as easy, or it's challenging to try to moderate his attitude to the rest of the group. I mean, I have to bring everything that I have learned, all my values and my beliefs, and at the end, they are very thankful. For example, no, I don't want to be in that group. And for the first time, I said, well, join any group, because anyway, they are going to encounter the same situation, but I don't want to argue with them. After that, then I discuss with them or debate the situation, and usually I'm able to make them realize that it is for the best, including the person who is challenging.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you. Any other questions? Kitan? Bridget? You don't want to add any of your experiences? Perhaps I forgot to mention my experiences in the IRB, the review board for Fisher or for NSU, because I have been doing that job for the last, since '06 actually, and I'm the only one in charge of the Institutional Review Board's revision for Hispanic-speaking students. So I have had reviewed and approved probably close to 500 studies in those years. And each of them is an interaction of a month, sometimes 2 months, trying to make the students understand the process and trying to also adapt to what they want to do without, of course, going against the regulations. That has been an incredible experience as well. I have to impose some rules, but in the meantime, I have to realize the student's situation, the student environment. Any other question, please? I can send you my complete PowerPoint. I didn't upload it to the full extent. So if you're interested, I can email it to you. I hope this has been interesting for you. It is for me. And these technological challenges, no matter how prepared I was, it was not a good time because technology people were at lunch. And I thank Dr. Lazeza very, very much because she answered my phone and came running virtually to the second floor where I am conducting the presentation. Thank you again, and I hope to see you the rest of the week, okay? Because, this is just the first one. Thank you, and enjoy the International Student Week. Bye.